So if I didn't tell you before we started this, my background and that I'm from Roseland, know that, then we really wouldn't have connected. You would have thought I was some guy from some suburban place who came here and we're just having a chat about what I'm doing, which you have no access to, and that sort of line. So what I'm always not mindful of is just the background of the audience I'm talking to, so that people can understand that there's no real technical difference as far as our life experiences, as far as the environment. I mean, of course, living very different and things of that sort. So we would have run into very similar challenges, but depending on our infrastructure at home, what was supported, how that thing, we would have navigated around. One thing, to answer your question clearly, is some teachers, for example, your strong suit would be your ability to draw upon an experience that resonates with them and others. So when you're talking about jazz and things of sort when we first spoke, that was very important because then I could talk to you about music. You know what's happening within the music field. You have an experience with it. We deal with musicians. My thing is, firstly, you have to make sure that your service connects with the right group. A large number of those. So if you have some sort of obscure services where you want to talk about Star Trek, which is not quite obscure, but you only like Klingons, you're going to have a very narrow audience if you just talked about all the Star Trek. So the key is, if you're going to sell social media, then nail your target group best. So look at whatever challenges you've had with it. So I'm not going to say these are your challenges, but I'm going to assume these were your challenges if I'm wrong for you. Based on your age and what you've done in your life to a rough scale, I'd say your best pitch would be look at trying to talk to people within your age range because you know their challenges with social media. So I wouldn't want to market to, for example, hipster, because they're going to say, well, what do you know about social media? Because they are social media through Tumblr, through Vimeo, through Instagram. I mean, I have a 21-year-old on our team and another 23-year-old, and we have about 15 interns who are all under about 23 just for that reason. Just so we'll know what is constantly happening. And I'm not technically that far older than them. I'm only 32 now, to be honest. So I just don't like to remember as best as years. And you have a 4-year-old. Okay. And so what I would say is stick to what your natural abilities allow you to serve. Because if I wanted to know, for example, what's your age group, how they feel about Tumblr, I'm going to say, what do you feel about Tumblr? You're going to say, well, it's a little hard to follow because the way you have to approach the application is difficult, and why would I then use this? Do I care about taking photos and then putting them up and having people, really? And so that's the point of when you're looking at these things, to make sure it just fits into your natural range of understanding. Because then you are teaching someone else who will have your same problems how to fix it.
Let me raise this question, Mike. Also, to our guests who came in a little late, appreciate you all coming in. This is Mr. Mike Scott Carter, and he's telling us a lot about applications related to your business and internet and things of that nature. But I wanted to raise a question that Scott piggyback on, which is, my mandate is baby boomers, those people born between 1932 and 1964. Now, it's ironic that you just said, well, who are you targeting? Most cases, you target yourself. Now, with this social media phenomenon, in terms of how we address things, my question to you is, in the African American community, a lot of the businesses that I'm consulting and working with and building, they don't have the capacity to appreciate some of the intellectual services that go before you actually get into the service.
When you
the
say
education.
Capacity, do you mean financial capacity?
I mean financial and sustainability capacity. So they have a need here. You mentioned Tumblr. A lot of people in size generation above me, size is a novelty in my opinion. At 69 years of age, he knows. I mean, he stayed with you right there, but his peers don't. Now, I'm 50, and I'm a novelty of sort, and then now you're 32, and then you're a novelty to those 21, 22-year-olds who know exactly what the heartbeat is. So my question is, how do you translate money to a population that has been targeted, that doesn't have the capacity to associate regularly? By the time you get the capacity, it's a 90-day window. They up and they down. It's like hill, peaks and valleys. Help me with that.
Well, there are a number of factors. We're doing a project with a group of churches